To be honest with you, this movie is a little bit skeptical because everywhere that I look up this movie, it says it was released on 2023. Yet most of the trailers came out a month ago, 6 months ago, and stuff like that, which to me makes no sense. I mean, the movie got released on Shutter last week, and the theater release was actually in 2024. So I don't know why everywhere that I look at it says 2023. But we're gonna treat this movie as a 2024 movie because, well, fuck it. There hasn't been a good catalog for horror movies this year. I mean, it's kind of picking up the pace now that Abigail, The First Omen came out. Those has been practically the only two good horror movies that have been released. I kind of forgot about the rest. I mean, like Night Swim and all that stuff. But we don't mention garbage movies like that. So, walking into this, I had barely any expectations. Then again, I saw a lot of reviews, like not literally, but I mean, when you're on Twitter you just see shit. And I saw a lot of people talking really nicely about this movie, which led me to believe that it was good. And a lot of people are like shitting on it because it used AI, which I understand your complaint, but to see what they actually used the AI for is kind of silly. Like, you can't really shit the entire movie for like three, four, five, six, maybe even 10 pictures they use, which were made from AI. I get the argument. Obviously, we don't want AI to take over genuine artists, job and stuff, but it's kind of stupid to like fucking throw away a wonderful movie just for the sake of like a couple pictures. You know what I'm saying? So, regardless of that, I was pleasantly surprised by the entire film because it is the type of horror that I genuinely like. It is the slow burning, no jump scare, just like fully creeping onto you and having a very good climax with a very good ending that leaves you thinking what exactly happened, and then you probably watch it again, and then you understand it more and more and more and more. One thing that I appreciate about this film a lot was it had a lot of Easter eggs. I don't know if you catched on to it. I saw Psycho: The Large Family not too long ago, and me seeing that mockumentary was kind of a training, I guess, for this movie, like on directly, because that movie I the person that told me to see it was like, "Oh, this is a horror movie." It wasn't a horror fucking movie. But then I saw it again. I'm like, "Oh, I get it." So I have to actually pay attention to every corner and the entire frame to understand that it's actually horror. And that's what happens. A lot of points in this movie, there's like reflections, things in the background, glitches that actually inspires some sort of creepiness to it, and I like that. I like the authenticity of that. That's the type of horror that I like because it just feels like there's a glitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a static going on because this again, this kind of like a mockumentary, really. Like, we're just seeing the show. It's like you're actually seeing the show, and then in between like commercial breaks, you're seeing the behind the scenes, which is a really nice touch, very creative. And it's like you're part of this. I actually would have liked this movie to have been released on theaters here, but unfortunately we don't get good movies here. We just get garbage. I mean, that's not really true, but most of the movies like this that are like very under the radar, they don't make it here, unfortunately. But regardless, it is a good time because like when you see it at your home, I feel like you're like the audience at home watching it, like you're actually watching the show, you know what I'm saying? Like, you clicked into Night Owls. The movie carries itself very well from beginning to end. Like, we start off with the backstory to the main character, and we end with the possession of the little girl. But I would like to say that even though the trailers show off a lot of like, oh, the girl is the main horror sequence of the movie, I don't think that exactly is the case. Then again, I don't want to get too much into spoilers because I definitely recommend you watching this movie. It's on Shudder. Like, just get a free trial and watch it, I guess. Like, it really it has more going for it than just that. And the girl is just there for the sake of like intensifying everything. The movie's already creepy enough. It always feels eerie. It always feels like the tensions are rising. It always feels like there's something going on. You already know it from the beginning that something's going on. and the vibes are just not there. Everything is a little bit awkward, and it's just really good. It's just like the good kind of horror, the one that's like not in your face, but just like just looking deep into the film. That's where the horror is. You know what I'm saying? We don't really get that many horrors nowadays. I mean, like I feel like the last horror film we got like this was Pearl back in 2022. I would like to mention though that there's like a couple things in the movie that actually kind of like threw me off, but I kind of like it threw me off, but I like kind of liked it. I mean, like I would have to watch it again to actually understand if I do like it as much as I did on the first viewing, because there's use of CGI on this film, use of CGI and green screens and stuff like that. But the CGI is not good, and I would say not even good at all. It's pretty fucking awful. It's specifically in like three scenes which involve chaos, I guess you could say. The CGI is very questionable and very just like funny looking, and I don't understand if that was the point, because again, this show is based on the 70s, so I don't know if that's like an homage to like how CGI looked back in the 70s, even though I don't think CGI really existed in the 70s. I'm not really sure in that time era. It looked very fake. It looked like there's like one where I don't want to give spoilers, but a lot of CGI was used. Like, well, not a lot, but like the CGI that was used looked awful, and it kind of worked and it kind of didn't. Like, there's some that looked all right, like you can get past it, but there were some that were very bad. I mean, like there was one that was like a slight jump scare, um, which was really bad. Like like when I saw that, I'm like, okay, that's pretty fucking awful. That's pretty fucking bad. That was like really bad CGI. Like that literally just looked like a green screen. Like regardless of the matter, I do think this movie is very good, very well acted, very well paced, and it is the best kind of horror we've had this year in a while, actually. It's like taking the Omen's eeriness, the first Omen's eeriness, and just doubling it with a little less in your face type of thing. It's more like the horror is very subtle, but it's there and you just feel it because everything just feels authentic and real. You know what I mean? And when we get to the point where everything is reaching its conclusion, you start questioning even more, which I appreciated that a lot. And then at the end of the movie, you're like, you have something to talk about, because it has a relatively vague ending, but clear enough for you to actually create your own concrete ideologies or summaries of the movie or whatever you want to call it. So I absolutely think this, honestly, I would even say, I mean, I'd say is right there with the first Omen. I did really like the first Omen, but this is literally just like right neck and neck. I'd say it's a tad better than the first Omen because I just liked it. I like the horror aspect way more. I just like more eeriness than just like in your face type of thing. So I definitely would put this just slightly above the first Omen. So that being said, I'm gonna give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Absolutely recommend it. This is a must watch, and it's in the comfort of your own home. Just get the free trial for Shudder and watch it. It's definitely worth the watch. Finally, we get some good horror. Hopefully, for the rest of the year, we get even better horror. So, if that's even possible, if that's even possible, I got my hopes up for Maxine. Okay, I'm rooting for Maxine. I love that trilogy.